How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome back to Mamiya, where, well, Kato's really kicked things off here. Suou, I guess he was proper. So Suou kind of got revealed his fate, and that he dies at the hands of a very young and very twisted Ryou, and then somehow translates into the next, like, end of the year, like end of the world, and existed in a kind of like a dream state, I guess, in the future, and became friends with Ryou. Maybe he was an illusion of Ryou's too. I don't know. It's really not being very clear about that, but that's okay. We're still going to try and find a solution for him. But in revealing what's happened, he's decided that he's not important, because even his death he felt like was just a stepping stone for others. And so he's cut off Mamiya from himself. He stripped away all of his like dreams and his like ambitions, and he's just kind of, and he started like shoplifting. Like, he's going downhill quickly. And Natsuki, who forgot his own name, is now determined to try and save him. So we're gonna see how Natsuki's plan moves from this point forward. We'll see. It should be interesting. So, yeah, I guess if there's anything else, let's jump right in. He was at a loss for words. Oh, yeah, this is the start of Ryou's story. Because within the unrelenting rain he found Ryou! He quickly ran up to him, forgetting the mean things he'd said to him earlier. His eyes, drenched in rainwater, were closed shut. Blood! He quickly took out a towel and placed it on his stomach. Hang in there! Snap out of it! His head ached with an awful sense of deja vu. Please don't die. He put Ryou's arms around his shoulders and carefully began heading back home. Not to a hospital? Please don't die. His wish seemed to be the same warmth he'd embraced on that mountain, as well as the aspiration he'd felt back when they were even younger. He hoped they could patch things up. He hoped that, pathetic though he may be, he could help Ryou. He pictured a future in which he proudly told him they were equal. And yet... Who are you? Oh my gosh, this is just playing Suou's like actual storyline with Ryou, because in that storyline Ryou was found and had amnesia. So it's the first plotline you play in the game. Don't joke like that. Feeling as though he'd been told his concerns didn't mean anything, Kato turned angry. You got hurt this badly, now you're lying? Ugh, whatever. What? Are you this desperate to mess with me? He grabbed Ryou's shoulder and realized he was shaking. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have yelled. It's fine. He'd never seen such a terrified expression. Did you really lose your memories? I'm sorry, I don't remember you. We know each other, right? The apologetic way he said that gave Kato's heartache so badly he nearly brought him to tears. I'm sorry. He thought it could be an act, but then realized that Ryou was too clumsy for that. Don't apologize. Kato remembered how mean he was to Ryou and how he'd hurt him. I'm the one who should say sorry. And he wondered why. Ryou always sacrificed himself like this. Your name is Kikuchi Ryou. Ryou. You're 17, you have a little sister, her name is Midori. Midori. Not even that name made him react. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Kato gulped and continued. You're good at fighting and you love strawberry donuts. Kato didn't know why. You don't talk much, but you have a big mouth, and you get mad at me a lot, which I don't like. But despite not knowing him all that well, he had lots to say about him. But you're a gentle soul who's very considerate of me. Ryou was the one who gave him a towel and donuts and exchanged letters with him. He was always very kind to Kato. That's all I know about you. My name is Suou Kato. He took his hand and gathered his courage before continuing. I am your friend. Aww. From now, just stay here at my place. Oh, alright. The bandages aren't too tight, are they? I gave you some spares. Use them if they become too loose. Thanks. It's late now, so leave the thinking for tomorrow. Not wanting to show his fatigue, Kato pecked his words carefully. Good night, Ryou. Good night, Suou. The moment he closed his door and collapsed onto his bed, he began silently weeping. I'm scared. The older boy he'd found so reliable was bleeding and on the verge of death. On top of that, he'd lost his memories and could only rely on Suou now. The fear of having to carry the weight of life overwhelmed his entire being. Still, a part of him was happy that Ryou relied on him. It was as if he'd become the protagonist of a story. It filled him with hope for the unusual. Now it's interesting, because remember I said before, like, this is the first story, like the original, like, genesis of Mamiya. The first story we see when we play the game. But Mamiya was there. And it twisted the way Suou thought about Ryou. And they never got his name. So already it's a really different start. Suou was, like, independent of Mamiya. And is in the same situation. But knows enough about him already to give him a foundation to work with. Can even help him find his real home, if necessary. So yeah, this is already really different. I wonder how it's going to play out. These conflicting emotions couldn't be defined, turning into tears that wet the pillow. After school the next day, they'd gone to the sea, but the results were disappointing. They couldn't find his sister playing around, nor the donut shop he'd had a part-time job at. The splashing of the faded, ragged waves brought nothing back to Ryou's mind. Unable to shake off the fatigue, the two went back home. This world is now completely in the year 1999. Oh, that's why Ryou has no memories. Why Ryou has no, like, can't find his sister. His home doesn't exist even, probably. And the donut shop doesn't exist. They've gone him back in time. That explains why he has amnesia. The road to Kikuchi Ryou's 2012 is closed. They'll never find a way back. The blended world has never produced anything but contradictions. Here, I made hot milk. Have some. No thanks. Ryou covered himself in a blanket on the sofa, his body quivering lightly. Intense unease was swirling within Kato's chest. A few days ago, he couldn't have imagined seeing Ryou like this. To Kato, Ryou had always been like a hero figure who stayed strong no matter what. I get some bad dreams. Dreams? I see. Dreams. I don't get any dreams myself. I'm kind of jealous. You are? The words made Kato's eyebrow twitch. That's all the more reason to drink the milk. It'll make you sleep better. I told you I don't need it. For some reason, Ryou's stubbornness made Kato upset. I'm telling you to drink it. It's my place you're living at. Kato kept Ryou in place on the sofa and pushed the warm milk against his face. See? It's warm. Calms you down, doesn't it? Alright, fine, I'll drink it. Yeah, this is starting to already tread familiar territory, though. It's creepy. What had been supporting Kikuchi Ryou up until now? The way he was at this moment, it didn't seem like he had anything to fear. Give me the cup. Open your mouth. Kato put more power into his grip. Are you for real? The mug with milk was releasing faint steam. You'll get burned if you don't drink it properly. Stop. Don't mess around like this. I'm tired. That's exactly why you should drink it. The words made sense in Kato's mind, but Ryou responded with a dubious expression on his face. Eventually giving in, Ryou opened his mouth and showed his white teeth. When he placed his lips on the edge of the cup, Kato slowly tilted it. He then gently retracted after watching the warm milk enter his mouth. A moment later, Kikuchi Ryou gulped. I'm glad you drank it. This is how you were calmed down when you had bad dreams. His cold voice, laced with a hint of rejection, made Kato embarrassed. I'm sorry. I just never seen you so fragile, so I'm sorry. After apologizing, he ran up the stairs back to his room. Why did I do that? I must have gotten Kato away because he's an amnesiac. And I probably felt fairly bored. That must have been why he stuck the still sharp fragments of glass toward him. He'd forgotten to have them dulled by his dreams and made Ryou suffer for his boredom. Someone! Anyone! Raging sea with no one in it. The reddish-brown surface became a strong flow that stood in his way. I gotta save Ryou! Someone help! Who could that someone be? Mamiya, please! There was no one to respond to his voice. Help! Help me! Someone help me! Overflowing salt water, a gray sea, and a dull mind. His throat was tensed up, and there was gravel in his bitter-tasting mouth. Ryou saw Suou again, standing there. He was looking at him with empty eyes. What was he holding, and how long had he been holding it? He had to take it away and protect him. Oh. He had to protect this guy. But... I get it, Suou. Hey. Why was there blood coming out of his stomach? There's no way. There's no way I could tell him I have a dream, that kind of dream where he kills me. Right, after this, Kikuchi Ryou. Wait, I don't... Kikuchi Ryou doesn't die in the mountains, does he? I think he dies at the sea. Gets killed at the sea. Just like Suou Kato in 2003 gets stabbed in the stomach. They die the same way. That's something I should write off as a coincidence. After all, they're both each other's assailants and victims. Suou Kato died in 2003 in the snow because of a wound made by Kikuchi Ryou stabbing him. And then 1999, Kikuchi Ryou dies at the sea by Suou Kato's hand. What a complicated karmic connection. It's as if Kikuchi Ryou from 1999 is taking on karmic debt from Suou Kato's death in 2003. Why did I survive? If I had died instead of him, this wouldn't have. It was just like you wanted that day. Was it really, though? This world of karma and chronological order of eras had no meaning. Now that 1999 and 2012 were blended together, the thing that happened first would be... Well, technically it would be the 1999 because Ryou is here to die, and 2003 is still technically 4 years away. The thing that happens first is Kikuchi Ryou's death in the sea in 1999. In terms of karma, Suou Kato's death in 2003 seems like it happened first, but it actually predated by Kikuchi Ryou's death at the sea. I'd wanted to extend Suou Kato's life so much that I was hyper-focused on how to prevent his death in 2003, but... 2 lives surrounded by bleeding and death, the karma has an origin. It doesn't begin with Suou Kato dying, it becoming the victim. But the time Suou Kato murdered, becoming the assailant, I suppose it's all good. This is only a dream after all. And they do say it's good luck to kill in a dream. That's... what? Who says that? The future in which Kikuchi Ryou was killed. No. Why? I didn't want this. I didn't want to kill him, he'll die! That was the cause leading to the effect that created the patch in which Suou Kato was killed. They were always tied together. Suou Kato died in 2003, and to know why, there's some things that have to be revealed. First, who the assailant is. Wait. So Suou Kato died in 2003. To know why, there have to be things that are revealed. Who's the assailant? Well, it's Ryou. Kikuchi Ryou is the assailant? Yeah, that has to. Wait, no. I guarded the floor, rolling my words in my mouth and covered my face. I know it's not it. I'm not unable to rattle the card between you. The way the true failure is a spectator. Though all the hard thinking I brought about an impasse of a conclusion. This would lead to harm. I would rather just pray that they become even. Okay. Suou Kato's sleepwalking got worse by the day. I'm so thirsty. Suou. I became a vampire. Suou Kato punched Kikuchi Ryou and drank his blood. Naturally, Kikuchi Ryo resisted at first. Stop, you're not a vampire! Then why? But when he saw the pure, still lake surfaces shining deep within Suou's eyes, don't talk back, and don't stop spouting such nonsense. Don't reduce me to something pitiful. Kikuchi was overcome by sadness and lost all willpower to fight back. I'm sorry, but outside my control, you see? Sorry. If the only alternative was to fight and hurt this beautiful beast, he would rather embrace this empty feeling and allow him to do as he pleased. How many days had passed like this? Kikuchi Ryo wasn't allowed to leave Suou's residence. Made to sit on a cold concrete in the basement, he couldn't even see light. He will resist crushing by the kaiju. He was being thrown about with the fragments of fantasy. The day the confinement of the year 1999 has worn him down. It was a time when Tokyo received snowfall so abundant it felt almost unusual. In it, there were two silhouettes, a hollow child dragging another. They'd gone outside without even putting their shoes on, and were arguing quite heatedly. Suou, you shouldn't go out in weather like this, it's no joke! This was the first time in a while that Kikuchi Ryo had gone outside. However, he had once wished for an outside walk this intense. Let's go, Ryo, come on, let's go! After all, this is a one-way ticket to his inevitable demise alongside Suou Kato. A stagnant sky so snowy it almost felt like the stars were falling. Kikuchi wondered about something. Suou Kato, standing by his side, was merely throwing a childish tantrum. So why did he feel like this boy was an incarnation of the truth that could do no wrong? Ryo. With a nauseating helplessness, the pain in his hand holding this, he seemed to say with vivid clarity, I want you. Holding back his wish to cry, Kikuchi Ryo took a step forward, then the melted ice of the asphalt embraced his bare feet. The piercing sensation made him look up, and then the fantastic watercoloring and see a fantastical watercolor painting. Ryo? And this was the protagonist of the tragic picture. Are you cold? No, I'm not. Indeed, his entire body was hurting, but he wasn't cold. His body may have been numb, but his heartache wasn't going away. Still, walking like this gave him bliss akin to the fire of a matchstick. Walking with you, this makes me sad. He walked, hiding his pain. It hurts. It's lonely. But I've never been happier in my entire life. Same here. I'm happy. So very, very, very happy. A cruel snow falling aimlessly into the darkness eventually buried their tracks and brought about a pallid conclusion. Ending, blissful souls. Okay. So it brought about the same end. We couldn't avoid it. What's end list? Okay, so this is the listing of them. Ah, so I have all these endings to try and acquire. Gotcha. But that was the first ending. Alright. Okay, so Side Daydreams. Okay, the prologue 1, we did that. Prologue 2. Okay, that's enough. It's done. I'll take this to our Lord. You got plenty more work waiting for you. Oh wait, no, we've already done this. Hang on. No. Well, hang on. Maybe if I skip to the right point, I'll be able to do it again. So I'll skip, and we'll see where we get from here. Suou Kato died in 2003. So I had a new option because now I know about Suou Kato's death. That's what was written in the truths. If possible, I'd like to influence that part and rewrite it. So, you don't have the ability to influence the year 2003, huh? That's right. Here's a question, though. Why do you think that is? Because it's not a year in which the world is prophesied to end. Because it's not a year in which the world is prophesied to end, though there may be some people who believe it was. Yep, that's right. Honestly, both answers would have been correct. Oh. Actually, it's better to look at it like this. In the fulfillment of both these conditions to make 1999 and 2012 connect. Though it's not impossible that the years share other things that you haven't discovered yet. I see. But the point is that 1999 and 2012 are the only years you can influence. The story it's set at the time is no different. When New Year's hit, you stop being able to influence it, right? Right, there were moments like that. Listen up, this is a very important point when it comes to unraveling your story. When did you feel like you stopped being able to intervene with the story? It was when... Okay, so I think these are the same choices still, so we have to unravel more truths to get the right answers here. You're right. You're right, I wasn't able to stop the people in the pink house. It wasn't the story New Year's Eve, I couldn't observe it, but I couldn't intervene with the year 2000. Aha. In a situation where you can only make revisions to 1999, 2012, you set it as 2012. You really are a silly goose. I really can't argue with that. Very well, I'll give you a passing grade. I'll only say this once, so listen up. Thank you. Alright, so I think I can skip here. Alright, so now we're here. Back again. So we've seen a couple things. First of all is that I did have to replay Epilogue 2, but we're fishing for a true ending because I had a third option for a sequence of questions. Like the one being that Suou dies in 2003, which we didn't know until we did his backstory. Now we're going to be able to continue on, and I think the other questions that are asked are going to be revealed through the other backstories of the characters, and eventually we'll be able to replay Epilogue 2 and get to the true path of Epilogue 2, having gathered all the information from these side stories. So, we have to start another side story right now. It'd be nice if I could have ended an episode and started with a new one there, but I feel like we can still just start one and get going. So we're gonna work our way clockwise, kind of do it in the same order that I played the stories in the first chapter, because I think I was limited in the order I could do them, or at least somewhat limited. So let's get the other side and get Ryou's story. Right, Mamiya's existence. What was Mamiya like in this world? The people in the pink house weren't at a funeral, but Mamiya obviously still exists and is stronger than before. What was the Mamiya in 1999 instilled? What was the Mamiya that 1999 instilled into 2012? The beginning. Yo. Huh? You woke up, finally. Sleep when we get home, okay? I was sleeping. Yeah, you were tired because of the funeral? No, I'm fine. Let's go home. Okay, but there's someone else sleeping next to you. Huh? He twisted his body to the other side. There he saw a man with messy sky blue hair. Friend of yours? Nope. Is he breathing? I'll check his oh! The horizon suddenly became warped. What was this, deja vu, he thought? He almost lost his balance as a wave of sensations came over him. A pain and a storm. A prayer and a call. Ugh! Through the dizziness, he rolled up the man's drenched sleeves and touched his wrist. That was a good nap. Who are you? Doesn't matter. A nobody. The man didn't seem fully awake yet. He looked into the distance like there was nothing on his mind. He had a simple look on his face, but there were hints of childishness in it. I feel like I've seen him before, Ryou thought. You an amnesiac or something? I don't think I am. I don't know why I'm here, though. Why you're here. Ryou almost said that he felt the exact same way, but then he shook at the idea of his head. It didn't make any sense. Wait, weren't you at the funeral? Huh? You were at Natsumi's funeral too. Yes, but wait, how did I end up at the beach? Phew! What? Why am I all wet? Ah, it's so cold. Here, dry yourself. A towel? Thank you. You're such a nice person. The smile and the soft look in the man's eyes felt strangely nostalgic, Ryou thought. Because it's like the same, this is the same intro I think we had when we did Kato's intro. I wouldn't say so. Surely some sand must have gotten into his eyes. As Kikuchi Ryou wiped his eyes, he began to tear up. He then rubbed his eyebrow again and again. The immense waves of fate were subdued by a mysterious feeling of relief. I'm Suou Kato. I take it that you knew not to me well? We were in the same class. That's the only reason I was invited. Can I ask you your name? I'm gonna wash the towel and give it back to you. Kikuchi Ryou. Just leave it somewhere around here. I'll pick it up. Hey, Ryou. Let's come here tomorrow, too. You'll be here again tomorrow? Ryou. Go see a doctor. Midori, we're leaving. The man smiled as he held the towel in his hand and had hints of a boy's innocence. So glad I got to meet one of Natsumi's classmates. It was so familiar, Ryou thought. That man. Suou Kato at the sea of the backdrop. The scene made a storm brew in Kikuchi Ryou's chest, and he had no idea why. Suou, huh? That was the first time he'd ever said the name. Yet for some reason, it felt like he'd said it many times before. I had so much fun at the beach today. Remember to wash your hands when we get home. Racy there! Midori, watch out for traffic. He looked back at her, he looked at her back as she ran off. Natsumi. Ryou, race me! Come on, start running! Okay, sure, I'll catch up in a sec. Ah, you're so fast! Aw, I grabbed Midori and looked up at the sky. The gray clouds in the distance drained the color out of the city. It didn't matter to me if the world ended. My existence was entirely too minuscule for me to perceive matters of that scale. I already had my hands full protecting what was right in front of my eyes. My existence alone didn't mean much in the grand scheme of things. My sins? I'm not sure what to say to that. We all woke up every day and went through our unchanging daily lives. Yet none of us actually felt like the world was gonna end. You're asking this far too late. I've been bearing this cross for so long it became part of my spine. Just like I still don't know my purpose for being here. Even so, if you of all people would insist I tell you everything. The days went by without much difference. Then I will tear open the skin, force my hand into the flesh, and bear it all to you. While I did nothing but live through them. Will that satisfy you, Mamiya? And so I went to sleep yet again. It's gonna do the intro again. We'll skip it for this time. We've already done it enough. Alright, here we go. Overflowing salt water, a gray sea, and a dulled mind. His throat was tensed up, and there was gravel in his bitter-tasting mouth. Ryou saw Suou standing there. He was looking at him with empty eyes. It's the dream again! What was he holding, and how long had he been holding it? He had to take it away and protect him. Suou. He had to protect this guy, but... I get it. Suou, Hey. Why was there blood coming from his stomach? It's so interesting how their stories are just so deeply tied. The sea of the year 1999 or 2012, know which way to tell, was calm. The short-lived winter sun made its surface glisten. Here you go. A donut. Eat it. Thank you. When Kikuchi's siblings went to the sea, they once again found Suou Kato collapsed there. The confused brother and the energetic sister made a tall student walk up and gave him a donut they had on them. Suou Kato's fingers, as he brushed the donut to his mouth, were wrinkled and numb with cold. It's so good. Oh yeah, thank you for giving me the towel. You can have it back now. Man, were you even ever sleeping there? I guess you could say I was just waiting for something new. Come on, don't give me irrelevant answers like that. But do you think a while in normal everyday life might be pleasant and eventually loses its novelty? Man, you could have died. Stop acting like you don't know the danger. Oh, yeah, I guess I should say something about that. I'm sorry. But I feel like I was predestined. You're saying that even though you could have died? I mean, the world's gonna end soon, you know? Huh? Nostradamus' prophecy. It was actually supposed to end in July. But it turns out the miscalculation was actually gonna end at the moment it becomes the year 2000. 2000? But wait, what year is it? Huh? What? Well, doesn't matter, does it? It's gonna end anyway. Ryou, can I have one more donut? No, you won't have room for dinner. But you had two. No fair. I'm growth spurt. All I'm allowed to. I'm in the growth spurt too. You're actually pretty cheeky, huh? Here, you can have half. Thank you so much. It's because you're so blessed. Huh? If you're giving it all just to make it through the day, you wouldn't even have time to feel bored. It's a good problem to have. Is that why we seek out the extreme? I wouldn't know. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you mad. Just that I've never met anyone like you. Like me. Finding those words cold and prickly, he prepared to close his heart. So an honor student like you never met a person this rough, huh? He uttered the words filled with despair. No. I meant that I've never met anyone so straightforward and nice in a noble kind of way. Huh? Though he was somewhat irritated, Kikuchi Ryou could feel it clearly. The clueless young man found him enviable. Yeah, Ryou is so nice. You have a good brother. As an only child, I'm a bit jealous. He didn't know the boy much, but his words touched his heart as an elder brother. What's with this guy? Does he even have a sense of danger, Ryou thought. You have it good, Midori. This man looked really helpless to him. He was a big guy, sure, but the way he looked at things felt off. Who even described people as noble? It was like he was just born, Ryou thought. And if he believed Ryou was nice, he wanted to be as good to him as he could. Kikuchi Ryou took a notebook from his bag and tore out a page. Then he ran his pen over it before folding it up. Suou, have this letter. Huh? What? When Ryou pushed the paper onto him, Suou could do little to hide his confusion. Give me your response next time we meet. Is this a letter? This should help with the boredom a little, right? The man smiled like an overgrown sunflower. Yeah, thank you. I did my best to make a good response. Ryou felt that he'd had to keep this child from turning into a balloon and floating away. Kikuchi Ryou's daily life was a repeating chain of routine. When his part-time job was over, he went to pick up Midori before going home to have his dinner for two. The harmonious time with just the two of them was the only time he could find respite. Huh. Hey, I was watching that. Why did you turn it off? Huh? Sorry. Turn it on again. No, that's enough TV for today. Brush your teeth and go to bed. But I'm not sleepy yet, so why? Go off the attitude. I said that's enough TV. You're being mean. Just do as I say. Midori was watching a simple documentary-like show. For some reason, Ryou just couldn't bear to watch it today and turned it off right away. But man, I didn't think it'd last this long. He expected his grumpy state to recover after a night's sleep, but it turned out that it hadn't. He wanted an answer even after she woke up, and Ryou had to go through a loop where he put on her socks only for her to take them off. It was a messy morning. Man. Midori had a strong radar for things that were off, and she could instantly tell when someone was lying. He himself didn't know what he was feeling, and when she kept pestering him to put that feeling into words, he went and shouted at her to cut it out. I guess I just ran away. Even though he raised his voice, Midori didn't cry, just glared at him. It was like she was better at not running away than him. This is partially on her. Why did she decide to be so stubborn now of all times? I'll make sure to buy lots of bell peppers and eggplant on the way home. What, is it supposed to be a punishment? Holding back his urge to run, he endured the boring classes. But then, while class was still in session, the door opened up and a murmur went through the students. Kikuchi, to the staff room immediately. What is it? Someone from the police wants a word with you. Huh? The police, that foreboding word made his mind come to a halt. He dealt with them a bunch of times, but this is the first time they'd actually come to school. Overcome by fear, he went through the door of the staff room in a place he rarely ever visited. Hello, I was told about you. I am Officer Mamiya Satoru. I am 27 years old, my hobby is lifting, I like eating caviar, and dislike salmon roe. This man claiming to be an officer is so absurd that Ryou didn't know how to feel. He extended his long, slender arm for a handshake. And the music. Weird choice. Ryou really didn't want to get involved with this man. But with teachers waiting on him, he had no choice but to accept the handshake. Reluctantly, he took the hand that seemed like a lead sculpture. Let's get along, Ryou. The moment the man shook his hand, all the hairs on Ryou's body stood up. No, 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 no. His instincts were telling him that this man was bad news, that he should run away from him. Gotta run, but I can't. I gotta run, but I can't. Ryou thought, his mind going in circles. Run! Kikuchi Ryou. The hand kept a hold on him, and the arm sprung like a bow. May I ask what you were doing last night? Nothing. Anyway, I've got stuff to do today. It has nothing to do with... Kikuchi Midori is waiting at the station. Midori, her! Why would you say that name? Would you mind accompanying me there? Ryou's entire body was racked with a chill that made him feel like he was holding a guillotine's blade. We brought Kikuchi Midori in because she was the first one to discover a body. What? She came to the police box all by herself and reported having seen a person collapse on the ground. The officer on duty first believed it to be a prank, but since she came alone. Either way, since the girl is too stubborn, he went to the location she described. And sure enough, a man was found lying in the grove she led our officers to. So the officer called an ambulance, but the man was already dead. That's it. And? We felt that questioning her alone wasn't enough. So I was called over as her guardian. Ah, Ryou! Hearing that young voice made him turn around. He saw Kikuchi Midori sitting on a chair swaying her legs. Seeing her happily drinking apple juice made him completely relax. Midori, thank goodness. Putting aside your emotional reunion, may I ask you a few questions? About the body, what makes you think I know anything? Still though, the first witness, eh? The man moved his wire-like limbs and spoke in a sing-song tone. You siblings truly are alike. What are you talking about? Oh, you don't have to remember it now. It'll probably come back to you as we talk. Oh gosh, he's just gonna spill the beans. Your sister is currently undergoing an emotional health examination with a female officer. We were told she's calm, so not to worry about her. We'll be recording this just in case. Are you fine with that? Sure. The light on the desk projected the shadows onto the wall. Then let us begin. There he is. The face of a demon. Kikuchi Midori found the body at about 9 in the morning. She arrived at the police box at 10:11, and the officer found the man's body at 10:56. After laying out all this, the man placed a photo on the desk. Do you know this man? No. This is Masaki Hashida, a 64-year-old factory worker. I don't know him. Midori probably doesn't either. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong voice. I don't know him. Midori probably doesn't either. Oh? If it was someone she knew, she'd throw a tantrum like you couldn't imagine. There's no way she would report it to the police. Savijima nodded and opened up a map and pointed at it. My cat's in the background tearing up some kind of cardboard. I don't know, he gets like this sometimes. He'll just find something to chew on, so apologies for that. I don't think I can scare him away, so. Anyway, moving on. Why was Midori in the grove all by herself? Are you familiar with this area? Yeah, it's one of her usual haunts. So she goes there regularly, but why? Because it's teeming with pretty bugs and mushrooms. Midori really good at finding things that are special. Does that apply to dead bodies as well? She has a good eye and is sensitive to things that stand out. She often finds people lying on the ground. When she tells me about them, I go check, and it's usually just drunk or just sick people. This must have been the first time it was a dead body. Is this also your first time seeing a corpse? I never even saw the body she found. No. I don't mean the body your sister found, but the body you discovered in a back alley behind the construction site. Huh? The faint light shone on his hands. Do you not remember? You were the first witness, Kikuchi Ryou. What are you talking about? The tasteless wallpaper irritated his nerves. Wasn't it Midori? She was. Today, anyway. But I'm talking about 2003. 2003? That's so long ago. Is it really? Has your inner clock moved even a bit since then? Do you even have violent dirges welling up within you? Do you? That's none of your business. When had they begun? Huh? High school? Middle school? No, they're older than that. The evil flower bloomed in the middle of your elementary school years, did they not? Was he claiming that Ryou had raged since he was about as old as Midori? No, I don't remember anything like that! Were you able to restrain the overflowing violence? I was trying not to raise my hand, and yet blood sticks to your skin by itself. Giving and receiving pain, death, and violence, it all sticks to you, and you can't wash it away, can you? Ryou was sweating buckets. The familiarity of this man. The similarity between them was something he couldn't afford to notice. Do you remember, first witness, Kikuchi Ryou? Samejima slid a photo on the desk. Masahi Hashida, a 64-year-old factory worker. Do you find him familiar? Shut up! Unable to endure any longer, he punched the desk, throwing the photo off. That would be all. Thank you for your cooperation. Midori went on to find her fingerprints taken. She was given some reward money before being let go. She wanted to buy sweets with it, so they went and did just that. And when they came back home, they both had dinner and slept like logs. That was when Ryou remembered the man at the beach. What if he'd been waiting for them the whole day? I did him dirty. He felt like he had to apologize. And that was exactly what he'd do when he met the innocent man again. There's no mistaking it. This is Samejima Satoru from 1999. This couldn't have happened. He showed himself with an appearance of a 27-year-old, and it was reasonable for him to assume he had memories from his 2012 when he was supposed to be in his 40. What a mess. 2000, the year followed by 1999. I didn't know what happened in the story after they devoured Mamiya's flesh. However, Samejima Satoru was trying to meet with Kikuchi Ryou despite knowing everything. He still hasn't appeared, but the same could probably be said about Arasugawa Osamu. He would most likely show himself before Kikuchi Ryou. He would want to see what happened to the Mamiya he had installed. Wait, why is it Samejima Satoru? Wasn't it Arasugawa Osamu who instilled Mamiya into Kikuchi Ryou? Why did Samejima Satoru appear to him? His order of appearances couldn't have been a coincidence. But I'm talking about 2003. What is the relationship between Samejima Satoru and Kikuchi Ryou? Alright. Let's go a little longer. Not too much longer. My voice is getting to get sore, but let's do it. I'll be going now. Good job today. Be careful on your way home. Sure. Man, it sure is cold at night. He left his job, the one he got by faking his age, and hurried home while putting up with the cold. But then he stopped when he saw a familiar back below an uncomfortable streetlight. Suou, is that you? It was the youth he'd seen at the beach. Ryou felt like night air could freeze him to the bone, but Suou was lightly dressed, so he ran up to him out of concern. Didn't you hear me? Suou. Oh, we're gonna have this repeat. Oh no. The youth quickly turned around, and when Ryou saw his face, his blood froze. Instinctively sensing danger, he leapt back to make distance. Are you Suou? His eyes were clouded, his consciousness seemed absent, but this was no doubt the man Ryou had seen at the sea recently. Upon closer examination, he noticed that he wasn't wearing proper clothes or even shoes worthy of the weather. No way, right? Ryou became worried he'd been involved in some incident and ran away from the scene. Don't worry, it's alright. Tell me what happened, Suou. You're cold, right? You can have my coat, so... The moment he began to remove his coat... God! The fist crashed into his face. It wasn't telegraphed whatsoever. Dude, what the hell? No. No what? The king didn't seem to like this too much. Well, whatever. I'll lead you back to your place. You remember where it is, right? Hmm. Ryou tried pulling Suou, but he wasn't moving at all. It's almost as if he'd grown roots into the ground. Hey, get a grip. Ryou? What? You're bleeding from your nose. Yes, because you clocked me. The air was dry, so the punch must have spilled a vessel near the surface. Don't worry about it. Let's get you back. Blood is fresh. Huh? Yep, here we go again. I wonder how much overlap we're gonna have. It feels like so far it's the same story beat for beat, but just from Ryou's perspective. The next moment, Suou was right in front of him. The light behind him made it impossible to see his expression. The warm breath fell on the tip of his nose. Ugh! He's licking my nose, Ryou thought. He felt wet flesh cloying the hole which he breathed. Suou's wet tongue wiggled around as heated breath in the air surrounding them, like taking turns to touch Ryou's nose. Ugh. He felt as if breathing in at the wrong time would lead to him inhaling and choking on his saliva. That was when he realized that Kaido was sucking his blood. With his mouth deep on Ryou's nose, he was greedily slurping up the blood. Hey, you! Cut it out! Hmm? Wait. Where are you going? Ryou wiped his nose and stopped Suou as he tried walking away without a word. Come with me then. Hey! Suou grabbed Ryou with his intense strength and pulled him away. It felt as if the mechanism keeping Suou's strength in check were gone. Ryou had trouble keeping up with him without hurting himself. Ryou found himself at Suou's place, but instantly dragged him into his room upstairs. What the hell is this about? You're so cold. So cool. Huh? You're really cool.
Thanks.
He was about to submit to the unconditional words, but he was able to keep it together. Let go of my arm. I need to go home and sleep.
No.
What do you mean, no?
It's not enough.
What?
I didn't have enough fun today. I don't want it to end. That was fun like I've never had before.
That's all the more reason to sleep. Nothing happens at night, and I don't want to bleed anymore.
How boring.
Get used to it. It's how the world is.
It's gonna be boring even if it ends, huh? What a shame.
So, did you actually fall asleep? Seriously? Let go of me. Hey, Suou! Suou? Hey, wake up already!
Huh, Ryou, what did you... Your arm, I grabbed it and bruised it. Was I holding it while sleeping?
You don't remember?
Remember what?
I'm leaving.
Please wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cause trouble for you.
It's better not to apologize than apologize over things you don't remember doing.
Huh.
Just go to a medical clinic. Bye.
The letter! I wrote a reply for you! I don't know what this is about, but I'm sorry, so... Please don't leave me.
Daybreak after dark. Alright, I think we're going to go ahead and end things here. Again, it's super parallel to what we've already been seeing, so nothing super surprising there. Oh, excuse me. But it is going to be interesting to see it from Ryou's perspective, and I imagine that they'll diverge quite drastically after we go to the carnival. Whatever leads up to like the carnival situation, we're going to go there, and that's where we're going to be confronted with the truth, and we'll see how Ryou works with it. But all in all, we'll have to wait till later for that to happen. So, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel, for being a part of this journey. I know this is a much less successful series because it's just not as well known, but I don't care about that. I just love being able to share it. And the few of you who do follow it, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we get more and more people to join us because this is a very, very powerful story, and I'm very happy to be able to be playing it again. And yeah, ultimately, it's just really fun to be able to be here and to share these moments. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel, especially the patrons and members for being so supportive and just so directly helpful. I'm doing everything I can to make it make the channel better. And whilst I am juggling with less time, I look forward to being able to do this more and more content as time moves forward. So thank you for your support. I'm really grateful for each and every one of you. But it is what it is. It's time for us to say goodbye for now. So thank you so much. And until the next video, watch me. You'll see me in next. I'll see you there.